We are live. Welcome to my video. These are going to be my thoughts on the Gifted Season 2, Episode 6, the episode called iMprint. And, yes, spoilers for everything live-action X-Men leading up to and including this episode. Another episode I love. The episode is rated something like TV 12+. So will this video be? Let's dive right in. So, yeah, I really appreciate learning some more about the... should I still be calling them the triplets? I guess since right now there's three, I'll be calling them the triplets. You know, I thought they did a great job basically more or less bookending the episode. You know, first we have the flashback, I think 8 years ago, and then close to the end, it wasn't the very last thing we see, they used to be quadruplets. And yeah, the production wanted to still use the image of the triplets, you know, walking next to each other, considering that, you know, 8 years ago they appear to have been minors. I really appreciate that the I guess medical gowns they're wearing cover most of their legs. That would have been very creepy. And let's see, Jace is, you know, continuing to influence the purifiers, and I like, you know, he calls the other guy who brings a 50 cal to a meeting or something like that, which, yeah, okay, I guess it's not that he couldn't get anything other than a hunting rifle for going to the free clinic. I guess he just doesn't really think about, like, anyway. And let's see, yeah, and you know, unfortunately for the heroes, Jace's tactics continue to be pretty effective. And let's see, yeah, I really like John trying to help Reed control his powers. And yeah, you know, ultimately, like, Reed is able to call forth the powers to break down the wall, but then he can't stop them. And, you know, the episode ends on the image of him sitting, you know, up against the wall, scared to touch anything, and telling, you know, Lauren, don't touch me, don't come near me, something like that. And I gotta say, that really, like, visually, that made me think of, like, an addict. You know, where in, you know, if he were an addict, it wouldn't be that his powers got out of control. It might be his temper, or some kind of, you know, and that's why the, you know, some of the furniture is destroyed. And I think they were intentionally evoking that because at least some of the damage that he did to the stuff around the room, it's stuff that, yeah, you know, if you were really angry and you hit it with your fist, you could break it similar to that. You know, we're not seeing a busted down wall like we did earlier. Really appreciate Shatter getting, you know, this thing of, you know, yeah, he talks about how you have to not hate yourself. You have to accept yourself, you know, and yeah, wonderful message that applies to so many minority groups. And yeah, you know, we're told the reason he has the you know, yeah, he tried killing himself. That's why his face looks like that. You know, what was it? I didn't put out the lights, but I cracked the windshield. I really appreciate they gave him that before killing him off in the episode. And I do also appreciate, you know, he did get to make a difference. He stopped the guy, you know, that one purifier. And I also appreciate, you know, afterwards Jace is like, you know, that this wasn't how I wanted it to go down. And when the other guy says, you know, people are going to die, which, you know, yeah, that is like, if Jace keeps doing it, more people will die. You know, the purifiers have been more effective since he joined, and sometimes it means purifiers die as well. And it's one of those things that might literally be the only way to reach him at this point. I'm not 100% sure. And let's see. Then we have the yeah. I thought the whole thing with the church, yeah, the attack that wasn't meant to kill anyone, very clever, very clever trap, and yeah, incredibly tense couple of scenes. And we get the detail that yeah, the police stopped using this type of this supposedly non-lethal weapon because it turned out to end up lethal, and now it's in the hands of these terrorists, and that's happened a lot of time, in this case domestic terrorists, which I really appreciate. Like, the show acknowledges how big a threat domestic terrorists are, including to regular people. Like, the people at the free clinic are not mutants. They would have been hiding if they were. Let's see, but yeah, it's one of those things, like, be careful what you create as a weapon, because it may be used by your enemies. It may be used against innocents. And let's see what else we got. Right, yeah, Lorna starting to she ultimately agrees to the mission despite the chamomile, and yeah, she's staying with him, but she doesn't want the triplets anywhere near her or the baby. Yeah, I guess especially the baby. They might have to go on mission together, but when Lorna is with the baby, she doesn't want the triplets anywhere near her. That's yeah. Let's see, and yeah, we get they're gonna break into a bank, which, yeah, wow, that's they're not, they're playing for keeps here. That's not a small thing. And let's see. Yeah, Lorna is very upset with Paige over the fact that, she's having to, yeah, she's being kept away from her baby in these really early, not very long after giving birth, which, if the MCU is anything to go by, I guess means she'll, if there's ever a 4th season called Love and Thunder, she'll rejoin. Seriously, that was really messed up. Like, Natalie Portman joined to work with Patty Jenkins, which, no wonder, incredible talent. And then after Patty Jenkins leaves, yeah, creative differences, they still say, no, you still have to do it, even though she really wanted to bond with her baby. I think baby, child, at least. Offspring. I like the word offspring. It denotes no age. Yes, I was just talking about the band. Yes. That brings us to, yeah, the thing about, Esme needed to talk to Lorna, so she gets inside the baby's head to soothe. And yeah, that is, like, wow. I mean, I'm not saying that under no circumstances should a telepath use their power, if they exist in the real world, use their powers to calm down a baby, but you ask the mother. You don't just do that, and I feel like that is also the violation, that's what Lorna is so upset about. And let's see. I mean, they don't mention consent, I don't think, but yeah, I don't. She would not have been as upset if Esme had said, "I think I can soothe Dawn if I get inside her mind. Would that be okay?" She wouldn't have been strangling her over that. And yeah, we get some of the details about the triplets, and yeah, they were used as tools as well, by this doctor to interrogate mutants. And he kept pushing, even though they were in pain, and said, I'll punish your family if you don't help me attack his. And yeah, one day they got the guards to shoot the doctor, and then point the guns at each other, prompting one of them to go, "Stop pointing that gun at my dad," and another to say, "Stop pointing that gun at my mum." And yeah, they said fire. And every time they've said that in this show, that's them like reliving that. That was where they took back control. And I really appreciate, like, if I understand the comics as well, there were at least at one point 5 of the Frost. See, it's not twins, sisters, clones, I guess. And that's also, yeah, in this one it's confirmed they are clones, which again I believe is accurate in the comic. And what was the other thing? Yeah, they were unable to save those last 2, so all the time they're carrying that around with them. Yeah, I really appreciate how gradually the alliance in the inner circle is cracking more and more. There wasn't, let's see, with Andy, there wasn't really anything in this episode, I don't think, but there has been in prior episodes. Lorna, very much so, and yeah, Esme is kind of, there's some alienation. Her and the other 2, her and Paige, and the other 2 are like, I can't believe we have to wear, what was it, last year's fashion because you let the I forget what they call him, but Marcos touch, which, yeah, Esme is feeling like she's being socially isolated by the others, and she's gradually, she's empathizing more and more with Lorna and that whole situation. I don't know if she's necessarily that, like, if Marcos himself is someone that she empathizes with, but definitely Lorna and Dawn. But yeah, she's like humming the lullaby, and Lorna points out, my aunt used to hum that, and there's something about, I forget if it was my mother taught her that, or her mother. I think it was my mother taught her that. It's all I have left of her. And then she yeah, uses the necklace to strangle her because of the copyright infringement. And now you know why I rarely put any kinds of clips in my videos. And not because of the mutant, but corporations really don't like, yeah, even stuff that's like shouldn't qualify as copyright infringement. So yeah. Anyway, yes, the and back when I did sometimes put some in, I was extremely careful to make some adjustments to make sure that it wouldn't be counted as copyright. Yes, that brings us to, yeah, Lauren. I gotta say, if Kate hadn't checked her out, I would have thought, maybe there's some kind of like injury. Like, I hate how the term brain damage has become like an insult, because like it's a thing. I'm not using it as an insult here. Yeah, I thought she might have brain damage because she seems really impulsive and angry, compared to previously. But no, I mean, I guess maybe it's Andy, maybe it's the psychic connection, and that was also a great, yeah, and she confronts him, and he gets defensive, but he's also not like, it seemed like there was a tiny bit of an opening there that he might turn back to the underground and go deeper underground. So much panic in this town. And yeah, I bet you haven't thought about that song for 27 years. I listen to that soundtrack every so often. Movie's bad. Soundtrack has some bangers. The let's see. Yes. What was the other thing? Yes. you know, she sees the some of the training facility, and she sees the vault having been turned inside out, which I can imagine is going to lead to them realizing it must be a bank or something like that. And maybe she can even do we know if that's what the vault inside the bank looks like? Maybe she can positively ID it and they can find it. I wouldn't rule that out. Like, I'm sure, you know, whatever security firm built that vault probably brags about it on their website. You know, what's the word? Not deterred by any threat of, like, oh, would people break in? They've got guards with assault rifles posted in front of the building. You know, they're not really worried. And let's see. Yeah, you know, she touches one of the sharp shards, one of the sharp edges of the messed up bank vault, and, you know, comes out and there's blood on her finger, which does mean hypothetically she could bring Fred Krueger's hat out of the dream. And right, the training was really cool, and yeah, I do appreciate, yeah, Lorna tiny bit slow on the, like, that could have, those bullets could actually have hit, you know. And yeah, she confronts Paige, and they, you know, that's what leads to Esme telling her, you know, she even shoulder checks Paige on the way out, which, I mean, I think the character isn't supposed to be much older than a teenager. Does anyone do that who isn't, like, still in high school, pretty much? Anyway. I'm not saying no adult is passive-aggressive. I think of the shoulder check as a bit of a teenager mood. Yes. Let's see. Right. The... I appreciate that, you know, like, in the fiction, the SWAT are, what's the word? They are holographic. But yeah, like, when they were making the episode, you know, there's a little bit of visual effect there, but a lot of the time, those are, you know, guys in costumes with run around with prop guns. So that's a good way to save on, you know, if they had insisted on, no, it has to be like a futuristic kind of looking hologram, you know, no, it's just like when they pop in and when they, you know, disappear, that's visual effect. But other than that, you know, we have some shots of them, you know, running up and shooting and such. And there, it's just easier to use actors, stunt performers possibly. And yeah, Rebecca is very gleeful at turning them inside out. Like, just, maybe I'm reading into it, but was Andy just a tiny bit slow to respond to the high five? Like, he almost left her hanging. You know, but he does have feelings for her, and maybe there's also some worry that, you know, what she might do to him if, you know, because that's the thing, like, as far as he knows, it's just like SWAT and cops and such. But, you know, we, Lauren and Kate, know it goes beyond that, you know. But yeah, that's, like, it's one thing that she's willing to do it, but she was, and I know they're holograms, but they look human. And she was very happy to turn them inside out. And yeah, you know, Lauren and Kate, the doctor says, I suppose I should specify, since there's more than one doctor in the episode, the psychiatrist said, I knew you weren't her family. So she wasn't calling for help in order, because she thought that she was dealing with mutants who were as dangerous as Rebecca. I guess, does that mean she was trying to protect Rebecca? Oh, she thought they're in her circle. That's what, yeah, I think that's it. She thinks they're there to use her as a weapon, which is not exactly, you know, the Struckers don't help themselves by lying to her, you know. Once she realizes they're lying and they're interested in Rebecca, because like, yeah, if you're just looking out for her best interests, you know, you at least might not lie. I guess the psychiatrist isn't necessarily thinking about the fact that it's dangerous to be an out mutant in this world. Anyway, it was a good scene, and yeah, Lauren destroys the phone. She doesn't usually use her power in an offensive, I know, offensive. It just tickles my fancy to mispronounce words sometimes. She's usually using her power in a defensive way. But yeah, force field can be used, if they exist in the real world, they could be used to destroy something, to attack as well. But yeah, we see the video. Well, we see some of the video. They see the rest of the video, and yeah, Rebecca pretended she was knocked out, and turned the guards inside out. Like, yeesh. And we're told, I knew you weren't her family because she did the same to them, which I will say does kind of recontextualize, and I think it was the episode before this one, we hear some of the orderlies, I guess, disorderly orderlies, saying, break her arm if you have to in order to sedate her. They weren't, maybe they weren't, at least not just being like cruel and saying it's okay to hurt her. Maybe they were thinking if we don't break her arm and we don't jab her with the needle in time, one or the other, she might turn us inside out. Now, let's see. So, yeah, I'm hoping that there's going to be a little bit more to that because, like, when you hear this person killed their family, excuse me, obviously we think, oh, dangerous, unstable. It is possible they tried to kill her like Mystique's family did to her, and it was self-defense. Yeah, it sucks, but there have been times when not in my life, but some people have experienced a situation where they simply, the only way they could protect themselves or others was to kill someone. So I'm hoping it's not going to be revealed, oh, she's just like evil, this like, I'm not saying there can't be evil mutants on the show. Like I've said, I like the characters of Paige and the triplets and such. I'm not loving the idea that she was in the institution because it was the only way to protect people. That's, I can appreciate adding some gray, some shades of gray, hopefully not 50, but I don't know if I don't know. I'll see how they handle it. There's what, 10, 11 episodes left, something like that. Now, I feel like there was at least one more thing that I really wanted to comment on. Maybe now's the time for quiet.